up, everyone? It is your master geektress, REDinFamy with GeekGameTyte.com. And I'm here with Eddie of Barehand and one of the creators, the creator of Cede. So, with this series, I definitely want to highlight a lot of us as far as game developers, Black game developers, brown game developers. And Seed was one of the games that I got a chance to actually see. I forgot which packs it was. But please introduce yourself and let us know more about you as far as being a game developer and why you even wanted to become one.
Got you. Hello, everybody. I am Edwin, aka Eddie Winback. I am the founder of Barehand and pretty much the project manager for. Well, I don't even want to say project manager. I play a role into directing the project. Cede. So, what made me want to get into game development? Well, it's probably going to be cliche because just like a lot of folks, been playing games since I was in pull-ups. And, every time I played games, I think the one thing that excited me the most was the crazy animations, the crazy attacks, and the flashy stuff. I was just like, wow, look at that. I want to make something like that. Like anytime I played an RPG and a character would do a crazy magic spell, or I played an action game and you see a character run up a wall and do some crazy flip and throw an explosion down. I'm like, dang, that's sick. I want to make something like that. So I've always knew specifically that's what I wanted to do in games. Was that type of stuff. And, I figured out, okay, these are the animators that do this. And so I got involved in the industry, first starting out as an animator.
So did you get any type of, did you self-teach yourself, or did you take the traditional route and was like, I'm going to go to school for it?
I took the traditional route. I went to college for it and got my 4-year degree. What I will say is that, if I could go back in time, I probably would take another route in terms of education, just because, college is so expensive. And, you have to, if you don't have a college fund or something saved up, you got to go through student loans and all that jazz. And it just really puts a dent on a lot of people's lives. And so, yeah. So I did do that. And yeah.
So as far as of course, me too, I've been playing video games since I was little, a toddler, all the way into now. And of course, those things inspired me to be like, yo, I didn't know I was going to be in this profession at all. I actually have a marketing background and I wanted to be actually in computer engineering. But
Mhm.
but yeah, seeing different video games and stuff inspired you, which is dope. But during your time, especially as young, because you mentioned just now you wish you would have went a different route. What route would have that been, as far as would have been teaching yourself it and seeing how far you can go or getting different certifications? Because some kids nowadays, they are a little bit apprehensive, like, damn, this is going to cost a lot of money, or oh, I may not have these resources. What route you would have went?
The route that I would have gone is to, one, get all the hardware that I needed, the software,
Hmm.
and practice on my free time. When of course, I would be working some type of job to support myself while I was building my skills up. And then the probably second most important part of that is networking and building a mentor circle.
Yes.
And I would be in constant contact with the mentor circle. I would have those who could tell me about the business side of the industry, those who can tell me about my artwork and if it's getting better or worse, those who can tell me about just, the lifestyle and all type of aspects of the industry to be able to prepare me for it. There's certain things that you don't get in certain colleges because they don't really have the insiders, the industry stuff. Some of them don't really have industry folks working there, and some of them do. But exactly. I think it's important to have someone who has a lot of experience in the industry mentor you. Or even if it's just an artist that's really good at what they do, and they can show you the ropes of the fundamentals of what you're interested in. That's the route I would have gone. And just looking up videos, tutorials, books, anything that I could get my hands on to level me up to be a better artist.
Got it. So how, as far as because I know a lot of kids or a lot of people, whether they're young adults or already adult, want to transition into game design or programming, period. What made you pick the sector that you wanted? Because some people might want to do level design. Some people want to do this, just want to do character models. Or what made you say, hey, I want to learn everything, or I just want to be a master at some one aspect?
Well, like I said, I started in animation, and that, like I said, I wanted to create the attack, the way the character runs and all of that stuff. I knew I wanted to do that. The in-game cutscenes, I knew that's what I wanted. When I got into AAA and I experienced the layoff and I left and I decided to start Barehand, it forces you to step outside of that box and to learn things, to get the game where you need it to be. Because especially if you don't hold the funds in hand to pay people, there's just certain things you got to figure out how to do it yourself. And I was like, okay, I had to figure out what game engine we're using. I had to get to know the game engine and all that stuff. And yeah, so that's what happened in terms of getting involved with more than just animation and why I did it.
Yeah, that already is something that's very kind of everyone could relate to right now, since in these trying times.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs have been birthed because of layoffs, or have gotten a chance now because of quarantine to pretty much own their skills, or figure out certain things they never knew they were into and kind of jump on that. But it does force your hand to be like, you know what, I want to step up and start learning this, and what can I learn next?
Right.
Has there been, like you mentioned that you worked for AAA, has there been anything that you learned from those different companies that has helped you build Barehand the way you wanted to actually be in the industry, and how you want a gaming company to be ran?
Yeah, I mean, that's the part where, like I said, the mentor circle comes in, because when I got there, it was stuff that I learned from senior employees that within 2 months more, I've learned more than that 2 months than my whole 4 years of college. So, it was my colleagues that I worked with was a very valuable piece, in terms of my animator skills and thinking about pipeline more. You get, when you're developing for games or animation films, television, you got to think about the pipeline, the workflow. You're going to bang this out, get that through the pipeline, get the next one, bang it out, put it through the pipeline. And I understood the structures more, the terminology in terms of sprints and Scrum technology and all of that. I understood the structures to be like, yo, man, we could do this, I could start something like this and do this with a team. So
Animation to me is the hardest. Like animation takes so much time from what I've seen. I'm somebody outside looking in, and I have a friend that's an animator. He draws as well, and he showed me something. He was like, "Yeah, this took about a month." I was like, "But it was just like walking." Like I was like, "Wow!" Like a lot goes into animation. What have been some things, especially building bare hand? What's some of the things you that became an obstacle, especially starting your own company, and you've overcome it to pretty much say, okay, this is what I will not do again.
Uh, well, the initial obstacle was funding,
Mhm.
and but the thing is, though, in relation to that, you have a lot of indies that'll go out here and really try to get a publishing deal and really try to secure that. And in doing that, you're pitching, you're trying to explain to them why your product is so great. And I really think the one thing that I would not ever do again is downplay or water down what we're worth. That I've been in positions where I've pitched and I'm like, man, I felt like I went out of my way. I bent over backwards to try to prove to them why we're great. And I'm like, I never have to do that. I should
Mhm.
never have to. If you see what I got and what I'm showing you, you will know the worth of it, just from what I'm showing you and just from, having a conversation with me and getting my vibes, like, you'll know the worth.
Mm.
And so that's one thing, lesson that, if I was to talk to any new startups or indies, that, know your worth in terms of your project, regardless of what level of funding you're at. I know that it's hard to make a game without funding, but with Cede, a lot of the teammates that we have did not come when we had money. They came when we didn't. They came, they were like, I love what you're doing. I love the vision. I love the energy. I want to be a part of this. And just out of pure passion. And, that showed me a lot. I was like, wow, like, just off of the worth, we were able to get help. We were able to get more, build our team bigger. So, yeah.
So I want to jump into Seed, and because it's a very unique game. It looks very nostalgic too. So tell us about Seed and what inspired Seed, why the name Seed, and what's the story behind it?
There's a few things that inspire Cede. With Barehand, we're a faith-based company with a foundation, Yeshua and Yahweh, and we really wanted to base the main character off of somebody from the Holy Bible. And my aunt was sick
Mhm.
with cancer at the time that we had started pre-production on Cede. And I told her, I said, look, I have characteristics of our main character, and I want to base them off somebody in the Bible. Auntie, who is this character? Who is this person in the Bible that based off what I gave you? And she told me, read about Joseph in the book of Genesis.
Mm.
I read about Joseph and I was like, yo, like this story is so deep. Like, I'm like, wow, like the experience that he went through. And I said, this is who we're gonna, and all the characteristics lined up. So I was like, this is who we're gonna base the game off of. And Joseph, for those who don't know, he did farming
Yes.
in his life. And so we said, all right, well, our main character is gonna do farming. But we said, how can we make that different from all the other farming games? And I said, well, let's combine it with one of my favorite genres, action RPG, action adventure. Let's combine it with that. And so we did. And you know, we did a lot of prototyping, and you know, we could prototype some action and prototype, you know, the programmer, he prototyped like a little like thing where this you shot seeds in it and it burst these little pigs in the grass. And you know, and we just started adding that and adding the action parts and everything, and it just became what it is now, which is Cede. And so the reason why the game is called Cede, at first we called the game Big Boy Little Boy, and the Y's were replaced with I's. And we hit up Big Boy from Outkast on Twitter because, you know, we was like, yo, what do you think about this? Because, you know, we didn't want to get sued.
Yeah.
So it was like, yo, Big Boy, what you think about this, man? And, you know, he liked the tweet. He was like, yo, we naming our game Big Boy Little Boy, what you think? So then we was like, yo, we need a more concrete answer from him. So, you know, we reached out to his manager. His manager was like, hey, unfortunately, we're not allowed to use the name. So we was like, all right, we switching the name because they got money, we don't. We're not trying to get sued. We work too hard. So we switched the name. You know, I had like, okay, let's get back to the drawing board. What aligns with the story, you know? And, you know, the story of the game has to do a lot with, you know, we called it Big Boy, Little Boy because it's a contrast between big fish, little fish, you know, government and average citizen, you know, father, son. And in the game, you're, you know, this smaller character amongst these bigger figures in the planet that have a lot of power and a lot of pull. And, you know, you're going into these environments and you're filling these territories with these plants, and in a way you're taking and you're giving power. I don't want to spoil the story too much, but it has a lot to do with that, because, you know, like in modern day society, there's a lot of power being given to figures. There's a lot of power being given, you know, just mental power given away, physical power. And so the game has a lot to do with that. And so we said, man, you know, when we looked up the definition of Cede, it was like, this is it. Like, this is what the story is, and this is it. And it was simpler, you know, we were like 4-letter word. And so we went with it. And so that's pretty much how we came across that name and what the story is and how it's connected.
I love that. Like, that right there is powerful and true. So I love the background story of that. And another thing I wanted to mention, so especially in this industry, what are your thoughts on, as far as, because a lot of times our people will go tooth and nail begging for representation instead of supporting our brothers and sisters that's out there, that have projects, of course, such as yours, a lot of other notable people or people that's up and coming that are making characters based upon our history or based upon just showing us as representation. What are your thoughts on that, as far as representation in the industry? Because you are that, you're representing that, opposed to like people always begging these bigger companies, and a lot of times it's checking them, but at the end of the day it's like, well, me personally, I don't expect them to do anything because that wasn't in their first interest, of course. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you can't really be mad at them because they're making what they're from. You know what I mean? Like, I can't expect an Asian to understand what it is to be Black, and, you know, and in the purest form. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Not reading books, not looking at TV or videos of what it is. You know, not and even if they hung out or spent time with black folks, it's still not gonna be from the pure form. You know what I mean? So or from the origin. So I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them when they make their characters and make it look like them. It's because that's what they're from. That's pure form. So I'm like the way that we're gonna get that is people should look for developers like ourselves who are out here, who are black, who are actually really pushing to release a game and get self-sustainability. Because, that's like my teammate, Chris Carter, he wants to create the Black Marvel. He's like, look, he's like, Miles Morales, that character's cool. He said, but Spider-Man is originated a white character. He when people think of Spider-Man, at the end of the day, the original Spider-Man is white. Miles, the whole Miles Morales thing is a spin-off, sort of. He's not the pure form of Spider-Man. So it's like, he's like, man, I want to build characters that in the purest form, they are black. They're not a side character of what started. And so I support him because I know that he's black. And I know that's where he's from. And I know his intention into making characters like that. And so, that's what I think it's going to take, for more. And what I personally think, should happen, or what I want to see, is for more black companies and founders to create the representation themselves, rather than to expect someone who's not from that pure origin to do it for us.
Exactly. I totally agree. Because in the community, we see that a lot. People getting bent over, out of shape, and upset. And I'm like, I get it, but there's these black developers over here, right? And that this project is happening and this one is trying to get funding. So I totally agree on that as well. So I want to ask you a couple of questions as far as, do you still, as far as being a developer, do you still game? Because I know a lot of times you're focused on your project, but do you still game, and do you always draw inspiration from gaming, or do you draw inspiration from things outside of gaming?
I definitely still game. I had a period in my life where I wasn't really playing anything much. Because my head was too into making the art game. And, and this connects with what you were just saying in terms of, the outside influence. I feel it's both. Like in my life currently, I feel like I get influence from other games, and I feel like I get influence from my experiences in life. And, that I think both are valuable and important to really put self-expression into a game. Like when people play something or watch a movie or hear a music track, like you feel when somebody's really putting themselves into it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even if you can't describe or identify that they're doing it, your enjoyment and your connection with it is through that. You know what I mean? So I realized that, more and more. And I said, man, you can't overwork. You can't be thinking only about this. Like, go live your life. Go, enjoy games. And when you come back to it, it's going to make the game even better, which it has been.
Awesome. Yeah, because I know a lot of people get burnt out. I ask this a lot of times with esports players, like, how do you balance? And that's what a lot of things, like, how do you balance the two from, okay, I know I have to own my skills, I got to be up on it damn near every day, but that can cause a
Yeah.
lot of burnout. And I know with developers, it's the same. It's like it's the same thing, and that's a lot of information going in and out of your brain, and you could go into overload. So
Right.
that's great to hear, of course, of gaming. So what system got you to first game, or what was that first video game that was like, yo, I need this in my life, and I wanted to continue to be a part of my life?
Well, I first played the Atari, but like I think the original Nintendo console was where I really understood what the heck I was doing, what was going on, and I was like, wow, this is cool. And that was my brother's, and then my first official console that I owned was a Sega Genesis.
Okay.
And I think that's when things really, I was like, wow.
See, I grew up on Sega. I grew up on
Yeah.
Sega. Then I went off on Sony, on PlayStation. So I went from Sega to PlayStation. Growing up, I had
Mm.
a couple of, like, I had a Game Boy, I had a Nintendo 64, I had an NES in the garage. I don't know where it came from, but I've only loaded it up a couple of times. But yeah, I grew up off of my first console was the Sega Master System. So
Mm.
that was the first one I played. But so what about now? Like, of course, when we was off recording, I asked you, I was like, are you excited because about PS5 or Series X? And you was like, well, I haven't seen anything that captivated me enough to be like, wow, the way the Switch has. So is that what you're looking for? Like, I know augmented reality is about to become like the newest trend. We already have VR. uh do you ever see, of course, having a project on these new consoles as well, to kind of take whatever project you happen from, either from seed or something new, to the next level?
Um, you're saying, I think I missed that last sentence. You were saying, is there anything that we would like to do on the newer consoles
Yeah,
with
because
Seed, or?
you said that the new consoles right now is not really captivating to you because you want to see like a huge leap. That's what you said. You want to see something like
Right,
jumping
right,
out.
right.
But even though it's not up to your as far as what you hope for yet, do you see yourself still having your projects on those new consoles?
Yeah, I mean, there's possibilities for that. Because I mean, next gen is next gen, and the older gens get left behind. And when it comes to consoles, it's like, all right, well, what's out? What are people on? What's your target audience on? What do your fans want? If your fans want the game on there, then that's what you do. Because if not listening to your fans, then there is no game without your fans.
Exactly.
So that's a possibility for sure.
So what's some other things? What's like the next dream project when Seed comes, as far as when it release? Of course, we need to know when it release. And we already know that you want to put on a new consoles or any platform that the fans is hoping for. But what would you say would be your next dream project? You mentioned that, of course, uh, your company is built off of faith base and those themes, as far as our history and uh, anything along those lines of a theme. What would be your next dream project you want to continue with?
Um, so our next project, uh, we're fleshing out, the details. But what I will say is that the character will be black. Right now, Seed is is creatures,
Creatures.
golems, kind of that mythical, you know, feel to the game. So it's not really like, oh, this character is black, white, or this. I mean, we will have like, a possibly in the game, depending on our resources, voice actors that are black. in the game and whatnot.
Awesome.
But the next game is, it'll be along the lines of something, an action game with a black main character, and it'll definitely be connected to spiritual experience, through connected to our faith, and it'll be another story driven experience.
Awesome. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I'm working on little stuff here and there for that. Like the character design, the main character design, the backstory, the clothing, all of those things, his abilities, and all of things in that nature. But yeah, so that's kind of little information on what to.
All right, you gave us some
expect in terms of next. Yeah, in terms of we haven't really shared that much, so that's definitely a exclusive for your interview.
Do you have a name already for it?
No, we don't have a name for it. Yeah, we don't have a name for it.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Cede, when can we play it? If there's anything else you really want to tell the fans or anyone that's watching more about Cede, please do. And yeah, when will we be able to get our hands on Cede? And also, if your crowdfunding is still up and running, where can we help to support it?
So there are a number of things moving forward after our Kickstarter campaign. First and foremost, right now we are looking for contributors to join our platform on crowdsourcer.io. It's an opportunity for anybody of skill and talent to earn residual income from our project based on how much time they put in. So we're looking for, animators, we're looking for 2D, 3D artists, visual effects artists, programmers, engineers, audio engineers, composers, and more. So get in contact with me, Edwin at Barehand, BARE.co for that. The game is, we removed the demo from our website because we just felt that the demo does not do the final vision justice. We don't want people to get ideas that this is the final game and then be like, oh, I don't want this.
Got you.
So we do have a Discord channel. You can get access to that channel on our website. And through our Discord channel, we'll be doing things in terms of testing and getting feedback from the fans and such on that. We are also building something called Barehand Luminaries, where we have a team of individuals who are, pushing the movement, who are pushing the vision that we have, and ultimately empowering, uplifting, inspiring gamers like ourselves and people who come from that background, because we really feel like the industry, not the industry, but the world, the outside world, really looks at gamers in a way that's not respectful, and it really has affected a lot of us in a way in terms of our worth, and not really putting ourselves out there because of how we're seen by the outsiders. So that's something that we are pushing, and that's something that we're building a team for, to be able to help out not only Barehand and not only Cede, but the individuals who are, within the Luminary team and what visions they have. So you can get in contact with me about that and connect with us on our Discord about that. And lastly, the game, you can donate on our website, barehand.co. We have a donate page. You get tiers for that, for awards for whatever tier that you donate. And we will be putting out links and such for pre-orders on multiple platforms. And we are looking at an early access model for the project where we will be releasing the game in chunks. And you can expect that next year. We are currently, in development right now to get our first initial release out as early as possible, quarter one, quarter two at the latest. And so yeah, that's about it.
That's amazing. Like just all the information you just dropped just now, even to help people that have some skills or owning their skills and can still get residuals off of it, or even the luminaries program. That is amazing. So I'm excited for that. I can't wait. All the information, everyone, everything that he just dropped and said, all that information will definitely be in the description and also on geekgametype.com. Eddie, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your talents. Many blessings to you for real. I can't wait for Cede to release because, like I said, this game was very nostalgic and fun. So I can't wait. And yeah, I really appreciate your time and dropping some information and your journey, even in game development with us. I really appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Blessings to you too, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. So everyone, make sure you definitely check out Seed, the Kickstarter link, like I mentioned, and all the different information that he shared as well for people to jump on the project and help out with the production of it. To solidify it will be in the description. Definitely go and follow Barehand. Definitely go and follow Seed. Support Seed with the Kickstarter as well, so we can get this up and running and out and published. And definitely make sure you check out more. We're gonna have more of these series and spotlights on a lot of brothers and sisters out there that are developing and they're in the gaming industry, because many of you, even though if they look like you think they don't exist. So we're gonna make sure that you see them and they do exist. Thank you so much, Eddie. And everyone, make sure you check out geekgametyte.com. This is REDinFamy. Peace.